Hey, welcome to another edition of Local Focus. We're here in our Albuquerque studios. That's Jordan Burt. We'll get to him in just a moment. We have a great show today, back-to-back weeks of volleyball guests. We had Mariana Sharp in studio last week, and today my guest will be Breanna Rivas. We'll get to her in just a moment. So back-to-back volleyball guests, we're excited about that. Who's got better high school girls sports coverage than Proview Networks? Absolutely no one. But we wanted to do a little update on some previous guests. We promised we would do that, and we haven't done that in quite a few shows. So we want to go through some of our previous guests. And Josh, you just fire them away. That's Jordan Burt, of course. Jordan was our actually very first guest, former Manzano standout quarterback. He was named the 2018 San Diego State Co-Outstanding Freshman. So congratulations there. He had 23 carries, 137 yards. I know our sales manager, Marty Watts, was able to speak with Coach Rocky Long a little bit, and they got some big plans for Jordan. Right now, he's third on the depth chart in the running back department, but if they can get him the ball, maybe on special teams, maybe in some space, I know we're going to be watching Jordan very closely. Before we go to the next one, we're never able to get Keyshawn Banks on the show, but Keyshawn Banks of Rio Rancho, he's a teammate, of course, of Jordan, and he'll enter the 2019 season as a starting defensive end there at San Diego State. He was actually named to the Mountain West preseason third team, according to the Mountain West Wire. So that's the same team that UNM has Aaron Blackwell on and Alex Hart. So that gives you an idea of the talent level there if you're a Lobo fan. So congratulations to Keyshawn, big things coming from Keyshawn, I'm sure. I know they're pretty happy with him there at San Diego State, and if you watch the message boards, you'll see that they're pretty high on him. Amaya Brown. Amaya had a fantastic year at Florida State. Unfortunately, cut short because of a knee injury, but she was averaging about 16 minutes a game. She was getting some starts late in the season there when the knee injury ended her season, averaging 3 points, a couple of rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. She was shooting 40%, which is a real nice clip there. And so a speedy recovery to Amaya, and I'm sure she'll be back, but she was just starting to crack into the rotation, getting some starts, some playing time. So that injury certainly happened at a bad part of the season for Amaya. Haley Ryzik, again, who's got better coverage of girls high school sports than we do? Nobody. She, of course, is at Penn. She's one of those smart kids. Remember her resume from that episode? It was just phenomenal. And she actually took part in the Ryder Invite, where she was the winner in javelin. And I didn't even know javelin was an event she did here in New Mexico. I don't think she did. I'd have to go back and look if she even did that at St. Pius. She was more hurdles and 100 meters, but she was the javelin winner of the Ryder Invite there at Penn. So congratulations to Haley, and she's doing good things there. Who else do we have, Josh? Deontay Bernard at Army, Sandia Matador, multiple sports star. Talked to his dad, and looks like he's going to be in competition to get a spot in that secondary. They said there are about 5 athletes at Army that are competing for spots in the secondary. Deontay, his name certainly is up there for a spot as well. So we wish Deontay the best of luck. Hopefully we'll be able to give an update when he's got it. David Cormier is probably the one that's making the most headlines at the moment. His receivers coach told the Colorado Springs Gazette, he works, he's coachable, he listens to everything you say. He makes some plays that have gotten you excited, is what his offensive coordinator said. The Colorado Springs Gazette just published 10 things to watch for Air Force going forward, and one of those items was wide receiver Cormier continues to impress. Quote, rarely a practice goes by without sophomore receiver David Cormier making a jaw-dropping play. His offensive coordinator said he'll be competing with Gerard Sanders for wide receiver time. They asked if both could play, and that offensive coordinator said if those are the best 2 guys to get out there at the same time, then we'll make sure we get them both out there. So it looks like it's going to be a huge year for David, and if you follow him on social media, he has not missed a day in the weight room, that's for sure. David looks good. He, of course, spent that first year at the Prep Academy at Air Force. He's going to see the field this year, it certainly looks like. Who else do we have, Josh? That's it. I want to bring up Josh Torres, who was a guest a couple of weeks ago. He is now the Latino welterweight champion. Congratulations to Josh. So that's an update on some old guests. We're going to go to our first commercial break and come right back with our first guest, Breanna Rivas.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Hey, welcome back to the big program. My guest this week has been a contributor on the varsity since a freshman. So not only a contributor, but a big piece of that team at Atrisco. Breanna Rivas, thank you so much for coming in. We're glad to have you, and we're glad to have another volleyball guest. But what I want to get into first is your family background, growing up a Rivas. That sounds like the name of a show we could have on this channel, actually, right? So talk about that, because it's
well, growing up a Rivas, it's definitely been a huge honor, and you know, all the Rivases are basically athletes. Most of us play basketball, so I think it's really cool that I'm actually one of the only ones that plays a different sport.
Okay.
And I love that I'm able to continue to honor my family name and, you know, make them proud. So
can we play Name That Rivas? I need to take some notes.
All right.
Okay. So Maya is your
cousin.
Okay. All right. And Dom is your
brother.
Okay. And Nate is your
cousin.
Okay. And Phil is your
uncle.
All right. So now we know. Now, Name That Rivas. So Maya, cousin. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So obviously you talked about a lot of basketball players. Mm-hmm. Did you have any basketball in your background when you were younger, or were you kind of like, all right, that's what everyone's doing, I want to do something else?
Yeah, no, I didn't want to try it. I saw my brother was playing, my cousin Maya was playing, so, and I mean, my dad played too. He's a state champ too.
That's
so
right. A big.
Just no.
he's a big basketball celebrity. Yeah. So you're like, no, anything but basketball, right?
Basically, yeah.
All right. So what drew you to volleyball?
I think seeing my sister, she started playing volleyball in middle school, and I was just like, oh, well, that's new. I've never seen that before. So I think just started trying it out, and it clicked. I really loved it, so it stuck, and yeah. So
what about now, are your family, at that point, if you're not playing basketball, are they like, hey, what's going on? What's wrong with her? Why is she not playing basketball? Like, are they trying to pull you back in?
Actually,
or what kind of pushback are you getting?
Surprisingly, no. I think just as long as I'm playing something, being an athlete. Of course, they'd love if I'd play basketball, but.
What other sports are you playing? You said you played some baseball, right?
Yeah, when I was younger, I think before I played volleyball, I played baseball, and then my siblings and we all did like karate.
Okay, so how was that?
I think I didn't really care for it that much. I think I went to a few, didn't really stick. It's hot outside. So I like indoor sports.
Okay. So when was the transition, you think, from, okay, I'm playing volleyball, this is kind of cool, to, hey, I'm going to get really serious about this? When do you think that happened?
Before I started playing club volleyball, I was playing like NYS, YMCA, and then we were introduced to club volleyball, which I played for Coach Melita. I'm sure you know her. And then we moved to ARVC, where I played for Coach Yoon. And that was really it from there. Really,
club, now there's no off season, right?
No,
so like,
definitely
not. So because I know, knowing Phil and knowing Nate and knowing your dad, and so I follow. They're friends of mine on Facebook. So I can't log into my Facebook without seeing you playing volleyball somewhere in some state. So just talk about just how much volleyball are you playing year round?
Yeah, definitely. We start preseason for high school in June or July, go till November, and then it really kicks off from there. We start tryouts November. We keep practicing and practicing until January, and that's when tournaments start. So volleyball in New Mexico isn't as big as it is in the nation, so we have to travel farther. We've gone to Indianapolis, Detroit, Minneapolis. We've been everywhere for volleyball.
So that doesn't sound cheap. So
No,
obviously
definitely not.
you have to have a
Definitely not.
great support system in
Yeah.
place. Talk about them.
Yeah, my family, they've played such a big role in how I'm doing and how far I've been. You know, my dad's always pushed me to be the best. My mom's always supported me. My brother's always, you know, been there. My sister's always inspired me too.
So your brother Dom, so what's the competitive factor there?
Oh, very, yeah.
All right, so tell us some good stories about that.
We used to, it's gotten better actually. We used to go at it a lot when we were younger. Now it's more of who has the most stuff that they've won. I mean, he's got 2 rings, and I'm like,
Right.
well, I'm going to college, so.
Yeah. Was
Yeah.
it after, okay, so after his state tournament, was it like, oh God, I didn't want to eat dinner at the house tonight? Like, did you know what was coming? Because he
Well,
had a pretty good state tournament, right?
Yeah, sadly I wasn't there for both of them.
Okay.
I was at a tournament in Denver, so I sadly got to miss them both, but this year hopefully I can make it.
So what is the funniest competitive story you can tell us about you and your brother, whether it be recent or super young? I mean, there's got to be something that stands out, right?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think probably just now, recently, whenever I tell him, well, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to play in college, and he's like, well, I have 2 rings, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And he still got time to, I mean, you know, if you've been to a Lobo game lately, they could use some shooters.
Yeah.
So, I
Hopefully.
mean, you know,
Yeah.
so he's still got some time there, definitely. So, and then you just kind of, all those other sports went away. Volleyball's now a full-time thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you had to guess, how many weeks do you have off a year where you're not doing anything volleyball related?
I would say maybe 4 or 5, I would say.
That's not
Yeah.
a lot. So you get to your freshman year there at Atrisco. Talk
Yeah.
about that. You know, were you nervous? What's it like making your first varsity team?
Yeah.
Just kind of go through that with us.
Yeah. Oh, coming in as a freshman, I mean, I was scared being one of the 2 freshmen that made it for varsity, but I think as soon as I met my friends, you know, Sarah Arroyo, she's played a big part in our team. Sadly, she's in Las Vegas now, but other than that, as soon as I found like my friends, my group of friends, I was cool with everything. I was set, so.
So when you make the roster your freshman year there, what did you think? I mean, what kind of group did you have? What did you think you guys could do?
I definitely knew we were underestimated, you know, coming from Atrisco, being in the South Valley. But I know we did have a lot of potential as long as we kept working hard and, you know, keep pushing each other. We could have done something, but I think we've just fallen short. So.
Now you had a rough patch in the season where you four losses in a row there,
Yeah.
back to back against
Yeah.
Albuquerque Academy. You get Cibola, you get El Dorado. So that's a really rough patch.
Yeah.
What's it like on the player side when you hit that rough patch? That was right before district started.
Yeah.
So talk about that. What's Coach Deal telling you at that point, and what are the players saying?
Yeah, I think continuously Coach Deal was just telling us we need to, you know, continue to push each other and do better for each other so that way we can be successful as a team. But I'm not too sure what happened. We just.
But then you get into district play, and obviously
Yeah.
you guys righted the ship, right? It's a 10-0 district.
Yeah,
Talk about that, running through district undefeated.
I think we felt more comfortable with each other. We felt more confident with each other. And so from there, we were able to have better team chemistry and work together better.
So you get to the state tournament, and you know, not to disparage that district, but obviously you knew that you'd be the only team coming out of that district.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not as tested for the tournament coming out of that district because of the teams where you're playing.
Yeah.
So what does Coach say to get you guys ready? How do you guys get ready for the state tournament that year?
I know she used to always tell us, like, you guys are underestimated. No one thinks you can do it. You have to find it from within so that way you can push all the way through.
And you lose to Volcano Vista as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what goes through your mind at the conclusion of a high school season as a freshman? What do you have to improve as a player? What did you think your team had to improve?
Yeah, I think We needed to do a lot of our own, like working hard and trying to get better on our own and putting in extra work on our own, so that way we can bring together the team and work better.
You know, we talked to Mariana last week, and you know, she said team chemistry was a big thing when she was younger. What's that like? As a freshman, are you just so wide-eyed? You're like, I don't know anything about team chemistry. I'm just trying to survive. I'm a freshman. Or I mean, what's your part in the whole team chemistry thing?
Yeah.
You know, talk about that.
I think, especially playing the position I do as a libero, you're one of the key players in the game, and you need to bring chemistry to the team. Like, I'm a leader in the back row, so that plays a big role. I need to talk, I need to be loud, so.
We're going to go to one more break here, and Breanna's going to try to explain the libero switch to me during the break, because I don't understand. I did it once, the paperwork. It's kind of confusing. She'll explain that to me, and we'll be right back.
Dreamstyle Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dreamstyle Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club, or dreamstyleremodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
We're back with the Trisco's Breanna Rivas. We're going to move into her sophomore year. But before we do, one more thing to clean up about your freshman year. So tell me the significance of your freshman year's homecoming, a dress, and a lawnmower. I heard a story that you didn't finish up some chores before homecoming.
Yeah.
Tell me that story.
Well, I guess I just forgot about it. And
Forgot some chores.
Yeah. And
So-
I just started getting ready, and then I got reminded, so I had to do them. And
So you're mowing the lawn in your full homecoming dress, I hear.
yeah, I mean,
So do your chores. That's the lesson learned here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I thought that was a pretty funny story
Yeah.
when I heard it from Coach, so I wanted to bring that up. So we go into your sophomore year and new district.
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys talk about as players, that you're moving into another district and that it's going to be tougher, or is it just you just go out and play? I mean, tell me about it.
I mean, definitely it's played a big role. I mean, because going in as, winning our district the previous season and going into such a much harder district, it's most likely going to, affect us as a team. So we definitely have talked about it a lot.
So what are some of what do you guys talk about to get ready for a new district like that?
I know Coach Deal used to tell us, like, going into this new district, no, everyone's just going to step over you. They're going to think you're nothing. So you guys really, need to push each other and bring what you have to the table.
And what did you think needed to change or improve to compete in that district at the beginning of the season? I mean, obviously you know the players, you know the teams,
Yeah.
you know their track record. I mean, what did you guys think you had to do better heading into that district?
I think definitely we needed to clean up our defense a lot. Usually we would only have like a few players that would go and try and, give their 110% out on the court, and I definitely think we needed to clean up defense. We also needed to clean up our hitting and our setting too. So I think it's just a little bit of everything.
So, I mean, the dynamic that's happening that year is, at least record-wise, the team's going in one direction,
Yeah.
but you as an individual, you can obviously see the development from my standpoint, and just watching and doing some of the games, at that point you're leading the team in aces, you're leading the team in digs. Your role is developing, you're improving as an individual, but the team's going the other direction. Now, part of that is because the district's so much tougher, but how hard is that? I mean, obviously you want to focus on developing as a player, but your team's going the other direction. How hard is that on you?
Yes, it's very frustrating. It's very hard. I think it's most likely because a lot of the South Valley players that come to Atrisco don't play club year-round like I do, and it's harder for them to continuously play and get in touches all the time. But I think they still work hard. They try. It's just a little harder.
And so, who's developing as a leader on this team at that point? You're still young. You're a sophomore, but I mean, obviously, you have the club pedigree at that point, and you're getting so much better as an individual. Are you starting to climb into a leadership role? Are the seniors leading? What's going on at that point during the team?
I think most likely it should be anyways, the libero and the setter that should be taking the lead role, because without a libero or setter, you can't do anything with the ball. You can't, so. So
the season obviously doesn't end the way you guys want it. Your wins all came out of district. That district is just, brutal. We talked about it during the commercial break.
It really is.
So, I mean, what's going into the summer after a season like that, as an individual and as a team?
As an individual, I know I need what I needed to do to, push my team further so that way we could actually, contend against these teams. And as a team, I think we needed to just continue to work hard. I think after that point, a lot of players are down and they know well, we didn't do too good last season, so we're not too sure what to do now.
At that point, is your club season, is that just, I want to get away? At that point? Or, I mean, what goes through your mind?
Yeah.
Because you really jump right into another season, right? I mean, what's the time in between anyway?
We really don't have any time off. Usually club tryouts are the day after the state championship ends. So usually after high school season, I'm ready for club, and after club, I'm ready for high school. So
right.
Yeah.
So the season ends, and obviously coaching change. Now a new coach. Some players have departed, and it looks like you're in full rebuild mode.
Yeah.
How tough is that?
This year, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. You're basically starting from scratch. We're not too sure what to expect from this season because, a new coach, new rules, new expectations, and I think losing Sarah is a big part, losing Olivia is a big part, our setter. So we're just going to have to work.
So, what do you, at this point, leadership, is it growing? Do you expect to be one of the leaders on the team? What are you telling potential players? You see freshmen on campus that maybe, I want to go out, but I don't know, I mean, how do you keep everyone engaged in a rebuild season?
Yeah, well, I definitely encourage freshmen to come and try out, just to get touches in if they potentially want to do it. To encourage them, I really just, you got it, you're fine. Like, you just need to keep pushing through. And I usually try fixing like little details in passing because that's what I know more of. I try and like, you need to do this and that. So just to better themselves.
Now, you're a very religious person. How has your faith helped you with sports, and how do you anticipate your faith is going to help you this year through what could be a rebuilding season?
Yeah. Well, I know in my faith, like, I continuously grow in it. I need to do better so that way I can be better as a person, and I think it's just played such a big role in my life, and it's allowed me to be who I am today.
So your faith kind of helped you kind of steer you towards Oral Roberts, right?
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
So that's where you're going to continue your volleyball career. Talk about that.
Well, I first saw ORU with my sister. She actually attends there now. So I've just seen how much the school is invested in her and how they're so invested in her spiritual life and her well-being. And that's really just drawn me to the school, and it made me fall in love with it. So.
Were there other schools on your short list? What else goes into that process?
I wasn't talking to quite a bit, only being a sophomore, and as a libero, you usually don't get recruited until your senior year. So I was talking to maybe 1 or 2 schools.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's another local connection at Oral Roberts, right? Talk about that.
Sakara LaCour, yeah. And I think she played middle for Cleveland.
Right.
Yeah, she's a great hitter. She's a great player. She has a great attitude. So I think it'll be a great season for her.
So obviously you're still young, so that's a verbal, right?
Yeah, verbal commitment.
So, who else could call? Who else would knock your socks off enough? Or are you 100% all in on Oral Roberts?
Oral Roberts was my first choice, so.
So no one can. UCLA, USC, and any volleyball powerhouse, Oklahoma, no one could call. You're 100%.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And so, what about have you been to the campus, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about that. What made it where you're just all in? I don't need my second choice. I don't need anyone else. What made that?
The campus is definitely very beautiful. It's not as big as like UCLA or like the huge schools that you hear about, but it's still pretty big. It's really green. I just loved it.
What's their volleyball program like? Have you looked into that? What traditionally?
Yeah. I think this past season they were not too I think they came out short at the end. Mm-hmm. But I think as long as we keep getting new players and new attitudes and new work ethics, it's going to work out. So.
Well, we certainly wish you luck, but you still got some years left in high school, so
definitely
it's a long way away.
Yeah.
It looks like a long way away anyway, and I'm sure we're going to see your brother Dom in that seat sometime during the basketball season as well. So we've had plenty of Rivas guests, that's for sure. Thank you for coming in so much, and good luck this year.
Thank you.
I want to thank Atrisco's Breanna Rivas, and thank you for watching, and good night.